everyone. I have been gone for a while. First, I hit a huge bout of art block and could not draw for weeks. Then, Art Fight came, and I was drawing every single day. Or, at least I was until I got 2 weeks into it, and I got hit with art block again. But, anyway, it is good to be back, and I'll be trying to make regular recordings again. Anyway, on to the video. Warning. The content in this video does get emotional near the end, and the drawing that I am doing has some creepy elements. Please be aware of this, and if you need to stop at any time, please do so. Thank you, other writer. Now, as I've mentioned before, I'm a theater kid. But as I've not mentioned, I've been doing this since I was 2. And I've been in the theater since before I was born. Because theater runs in my blood. My grandmother does theater, my mom does theater, my dad does theater, and probably other people in her past. But I've always been surrounded by it. So I thought I might tell some stories that relate to plays I've done or productions I've been in. My whole life has been surrounded by it, so I have a bout of stories. One of my favorite stories is when I was younger, I was in this theater camp that my grandmother ran, where we would do fairy tales or musicals that were really short. And, well, I made a best friend there. And me and that best friend continued to do the same theater camp until about 4th grade. But this story is about my first year. I was about, 5 at the time doing this theater camp. And we were backstage, kind of. There was this whole courtyard area that had cinder blocks, and you could feed stray cats. It was really nice. It housed stray cats, and they were very sweet. But that's not the important part here. The important part is the cinder blocks. How can cinder blocks be important? Well, they're important when you get dared to stick your face in one. And so, being the dumb 5-year-old I was, I did. I stuck my face into the cinder block, and I pulled it up, and I turned to my friend, and my friend screamed. I couldn't tell why he was screamed until I touched my face, and there was a giant praying mantis on my face. And I mean, giant. How did I not feel it? I don't know. Maybe it's that thing where kids don't react until someone else reacts. But it was scary, and I flung the praying mantis off my face and started to cry. And that's as far as I remember. That's one of my earliest memories in general, is the fear of having a giant praying mantis on my face. Another story from this camp is quite funny and actually relates to the play. We were doing something called The Emperor with No Clothes, where basically this emperor he wants to get these robes made, and he goes to these scammers, and the scammers are like, these are invisible robes, and they give him these robes. And, well, this poor dude, the one guy in our cast that was old enough to play the emperor, who was supposed to only be helping crew, ended up having to be our emperor and get on stage in a morph suit and tighty-whities. I don't know if there's images of that online, but if there are, I feel so bad for him. Logan, if you somehow find this, I am so sorry that we made you do that. Another story from my time at middle school theater. Let's just say middle school theater is not the funnest sometimes, especially when you have a really bad teacher. But the story takes place my 6th grade year. I was getting back into theater after that summer camp ended and having a lot of fun. And I had always been of the tradition that you give things to very important members of the cast because I was raised in a theater environment. And there was this person who was playing one of our 2 lead characters, as well as being the stage manager. So I was like, I should make him a gift. So I did. I drew him as the character. He was on this little moon, and he had wings because he was an angel. And it was really fun to draw, and I had a lot of fun drawing it. And on that last night, when I went to go give him it, I gave him it. And his friend was standing next to him, and she gave me a weird look. But I didn't think much of it. It was innocent. It was just me I was of the tradition that you give gifts to the stage manager and to the director and all this. And I actually made the director a gift as well. Well, fast forward a few months, I find a summer camp run by my school teacher. And she lets me join. And I run into those kids. I run into that person and his friend. Turns out that friend was his girlfriend. And they thought I gave him a gift because I had a crush on him. That was furthest from the thing. He had beautiful hair, but that was still furthest from the thing. I just like to draw things. And I was so embarrassed. I felt dumb. Now, this last story is a little emotional. This video is going to be a little shorter, I'm realizing now looking at the timer, but the last story comes from my second production of The Cursed Play, aka Macbeth. I was assistant stage manager on this adult production. I'm the only minor on this production. It's because, like I said, I've been doing theater, especially community theater in Austin, for a very long time. And so, oftentimes, I'll get cast for crew, and I'll help backstage on these productions. And I've always had fun with it, because I get to befriend these people who feel on my level, almost. Because I've been in theater for a very long time. I've been acting for a very long time. And joining school theater, it felt like I was the weird one out because I knew all the terms already and how to do things. And I felt like for 4 years of me doing school theater that it was repetitive and it was boring me. But acting with these people was a lot of fun because I understood them. And like I said, this story's a bit emotional. On that last night, when strike happened, I sat outside after all the work was done. Sad on how it was going to move on, and actually how my life in general was, because doing what I did, doing that play, felt like what I wanted to do for the rest of my life every day. But it's not a reliable job, so I was worried. But one of my best friends that I made through another production came and sat next to me, and he told me his problems, and said, I see a sad soul when there is one. Tell me your issues. And he gave me life advice and talked to me and listened to me cry. And he's been there for me since. One of his things that he told me was I wouldn't actively hang out with a 14-year-old if I didn't think they were cool. This was back when I was 14. And I've known him for a while now, so it's not an accurate depiction of my age. But he is a really dear family friend, and I grew close to him with that production. And he's one of those people that I can call whenever I need something. So, of all my theater antidotes, this video goes out to you. I'm not going to say your name, but you know who you are, and I love you dearly. You're a mentor to me. And that is the end. So we stop on an emotional note. I dedicate this video to not only my friend, but to all the other friends I've made throughout theater. All of them. Who've hired me or just been in the cast with me. Thank you for treating me like a human. I hope everyone has a good day. Ryder out.